What is up, everybody? Welcome. We are doing another hero ranking. In this hero ranking, we are going to be doing Iceman. I had a great time playing him through the 4 aspects. I think his best one, the best one that I won was aggression, I think. But I think protection is where he's at. That way he can ready up more and basically do his frostbite a lot more. Besides those two, I think the other ones may be helpful in some situations, but otherwise. Alright, let's get into this. So, first off, we are doing the hero version of Iceman. I put as a 4. He is a 1/2/2, hand size 5, hit points 11. He's Ice X-Men. Freeze, interrupt. When Iceman makes a basic attack or defense against an enemy, attach a set aside copy of Frostbite to the enemy. He has 6 set aside Frostbites, which this is not like a one-time use. If you can attack multiple times in a turn, you can apply more Frostbites to multiple enemies or one enemy and just stack up on. And if you're being attacked, you can do this in defense. That way you can reduce the attacker's attack power. So very good. This is why I'm ranking it a 4. It is good. It's good. Moving on to the alter ego, that is also a 4. I think it's my first 4 alter ego. Bobby Drake, 4 recovery, which is pretty good. Hand size 6, hit points 11. He's a mutant. Bobby Drake begins the game with 6 frostbite. Upgrade set aside. So it's set aside, it's not in your deck. Cool off response. After you change to this form, shuffle 1 ice card from your discard pile into your deck for each copy of frostbite in play. So I bumped this up to a 4 because it says each copy. So if you get like a lot out there, I think I've had 3 at most when I flipped over, you're able to put 3 of his ice cards, which is pretty much anything from his hero pack, into your deck, shuffling of course. Which is bonkers good because you can pull cards that you think you need, like Chill Out for thwarting, or if you want to do a big attack, you can do what is it? Arctic Attack, I think. So yeah, that's why that's a 4. Moving on to what is it? Frostbite. We're gonna talk about Frostbite here. Frostbite, I put as a 4 as well because it's basically what his deck is built around. It's a permanent. Attach enemy gets -1 scheme and -1 attack. For response after attach enemy activates or leaves play, set this card aside. So this basically, you can stack on a bunch to like the villain. I've had the villain attacking for 0. I think just 0. I don't think he's been negative at all for anything. But still, very good card. Very good to get them all out on the field, especially for some cards in his hero pack that benefit from people being frostbite. Moving on to Snow Clone. Snow Clone I put as a 3. Most time my allies end up as like a 2. He's a 2/0/2/2 Ice X-Men. Strength resource. Cannot upgrades attached. Slow Snow Clones take -1 consequential damage after it attacks an enemy with frostbite attached. So if you have Snow Clones out, if you don't have to use them to defend or jump block, you attack any enemy that has a frostbite, because otherwise these snow clones will stay out forever as long as you're attacking frostbite attached enemies. Great card, great ally. There's 2 of them in the deck. It only costs 2 for a number of 2 attack turns. It's great. Moving on to Power Belt, I put as a 3. Now it's 2 cost upgrade. It's an energy resource. You get +3 hit points, which is awesome, bonkers good, especially since he's 11 hit points already. Hero resource, exhaust Power Belt, generate a wild resource for an ice card. Now, most of my generate cards are usually like a 2, but this is a 3 because it has the hit points. And what I don't like is you can only use it for an ice card. It makes sense in his deck, but I wish it could be like for anything. But you can't pick and choose, right? But most of his cards are all ice, so it benefits you regardless. Moving on to Cryonetic Perception, which I put as a numeral 4. 2-cost upgrade. It's a mental resource. Superpower. Hero response. After you resolve your freeze ability, exhaust this card. Draw 1 card. If that card has the ice trait, ready Iceman. This is a fantastic card. It's basically, as long as you're ready at the start of your turn. Actually, it doesn't matter. It's basically Avengers Mansion, but for 1 hero, and it costs 2. Because whether you attack or defend, you can use your freeze ability, do this card, draw 1 extra card, and if it's an ice trait, you get a ready Iceman back up again. Which is why I think he's also good in protection when you have what is it, Indomitable? Sure, why not? Indomitable. If it's not an ice trait, you can use that to ready Iceman instead. So I think this is a great card. One, a must play if you get it. It is fantastic. Moving on to Ice Slide. Ice Slide, Ice Slide. This one I put as a 1. I don't think I played it at all in my games. It's 2-cost upgrade, energy resource. Iceman gets +1/+1/+1 and gains the aerial trait. For response after you change to alter ego form, shuffle this card into your deck. Now I think the reason I never played this was it always came into my hand right when I needed to flip. So there was no point in playing it because it would just go away right away. I haven't found a moment where this would benefit me, because I feel like for Iceman, you want to flip to Alter Ego more often to get more of the ice cards into your deck before it goes all the way complete. But it's a decent card if you plan on staying in hero form for a while. Moving on, that's the first card to go below a 3. Next one is Frozen Solid. Which one is that? Here, Frozen Solid I put as a 2. 3-cost upgrade. Frozen Solid. Condition Ice. Mental resource. Hero form only. Attached to an enemy. Max 1 per enemy. Force interrupt. When attached enemy would activate, discard Frozen Solid instead. Then attach a set aside copy of Frostbite to that enemy. Now it's a 2. Basically because I always had other cards in my hand that I wanted to play. I played it a few times, which is good because it's basically like Webbed Up or Spider-Man, except they don't get stunned. Instead, they get Frostbite to the enemy, which is still good. Cancels their whole activation, Frostbite. So if you do pull like an advance or something like that, it's still minus. Still a decent card, and I'll play it when I can. But it ended up being a 2. Sad to say. Next is going to be Ice Wall. Ice Wall, Ice Wall. Ice Wall is a 3. Now this I rarely got to play, but I love the concept of it. It's a 4-cost support. It's a physical resource. Ice, force interrupt when an identity would take any amount of damage from an attack. Place that damage here instead. Then, if there is at least 8 damage here, discard this card and attach a set-aside copy of Frostbite to the enemy that just attacked. I have a question about this one now. I played this like once because it costs a 4. That costs a lot. And I also had other ice cards that I wanted to play instead of this. This is a good card to match up with Ice Slide because you get to stay in hero form for a little bit longer. But now it says when an identity would take any amount of damage. So I'm thinking if you're playing multiplayer, you can put this out and it blocks pretty much everybody's attack. Correct me if I'm wrong. Everybody who gets attacked, you can add it to this. Because when an identity, it doesn't say when your identity. Or when your hero's identity, whatever. So this could be a lot better card than I'm thinking of in multiplayer. For true solo, it's still pretty good. But sadly, it only made 3. But I only played it once or twice. So it's still good that it made 3. Moving on to Arctic Attack. Arctic Attack, I made a 3. It's 2-cost event. It's an energy resource. Attack Ice Power. Hero action attack. Choose. Deal 4 damage to an enemy and attach a set-aside copy of Frostbite to it. Deal 6 damage to an enemy with a Frostbite attached. Now, dealing 6 is great, but if you know you might get hit hard, you might want to deal 4 damage and do a Frostbite to that. So you can add on Frostbite if it already has Frostbite. Great card. I would always play it. I mean, there's not much else to say. You can either deal 4 and a Frostbite or 6 to a Frostbite already attached. It really depends on what's going on in that moment. Moving on to Ice Blast. Which is one. That one. This is a 4. I got a lot of 4s. This is the first hero that has a lot of 4s. 3-cost event. Strength resource. Ice superpower, hero action, choose a player, attach a set-aside copy of Frostbite to the villain, and each minion engaged with that player. Deal 3 damage to each enemy with the copy of Frostbite. 3 damage to each enemy is a lot. Especially nowadays with health going up for minions. This does a lot. Especially if you have a lot of minions in there. It goes to every single one of them. As long as you have the Frostbites to put out there. So yeah, this helped clear the board a lot when I played. And it helped deal damage to the villain, which is awesome. That's all I have to say. That's why it's a 4. Need I say more? Chill Out. Chill Out I put as a 3. Right? 2-cost event. Mental resource. Ice superpower thwart. Hero action thwart. Remove 3 threat from a scheme. Attach a set-aside copy of Frostbite to an enemy. Now this is his thwart is 1, and this is his only thwart card. He has 3 of them. And 3 threat from a scheme, that's pretty good. And you get a Frostbite an enemy. Like, it's just, you're doing 2 things for 1, and then Frostbite can bounce off of other things. Like a Arctic Attack. Or your, Snow Clones. Like, Frostbite is just amazing. And I love it. It's great. So yeah, that is why that's a 3. And it also saved me a bunch of times when I was almost about to scheme out, so it only costs 2, so if you have 2 in your hand, you play, you attack, you get the perception card, you draw a card, you can play both of them to clear the board. That's all that. So we got a lot of 4s and 3s. 1, 2, and 1, 1, 1, and 1, 2. We have no 0s. So our overall ranking for this is 8 out of 10. That's what my system came out to, surprisingly. Excuse me. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of Iceman and what hero cards is a must-play for him, which ones are kind of a void. Sorry. Otherwise, I love playing Iceman, and I can't wait to play more and dig more into his cards and find out the perfect synergy with other cards. Alright, other than that, we'll see you guys next time, and deuces.